the idea behind it was that to get to Trinidad by your own means without the government aid or some big bourgeois Sawati help is going to cost you pound and crown. You're going to put your life at risk, and it's going to be onerous.
So it was a symbolic swim.
That's right, it's a statement.
It was a symbolic swim.
More than an Olympic feat. I wasn't trying to break a record, but I could tell you today, you could ask any child in Trinidad and Tobago who's the first person to swim between Trinidad and Tobago. They're going to say, yours truly. What's the truth?
Is that something you're proud of? You seem to be boasting.
No, I'm saying, yes, I'm proud of it.
Well,
why? I'll tell you why.
Well, let me ask you.
I'll tell you why I'm proud of it. Let's qualify.
Let me hear you.
I'm proud of it simply because I've gotten the type of attention I wanted to bring to the issue.
So you did it for the attention?
Attention to the cause, man.
Right.
I got that.
Can you remind us what the cause is, or what?
The cause is the only things that Tobagonians have control over is, well, the only thing is their arm. Right? Tobagonians have control over their arms, legs, and their heart.
So their bodies.
So I say things.
So their bodies.
So they have control over these things.
Their body.
Only thing.
Right.
They have no control over the Galleon's Passage, the TNT Express, TNT Spirit, the Cabo Star. Nothing like that. So, whenever the government fails to send us transportation, if we want to get to Trinidad, it's a swim, it's a canoe, it's a pirogue, it's back to swimming
so
again.
Let me ask you this.
And we conducted business, eh? I went to Trinidad and I planted a tree in Tobago, a tree which many men are now eating from. Banana I planted in Trinidad. I brought that from my backyard in Tobago and I planted in Trinidad. I conduct business.
Another statement.
And I took a wheelchair from someone in Tobago. They gave me a wheelchair and I carried it back to Tobago. So I engaged in trade.
It was strapped to you in the water?
It was trade, huh?
It was strapped to you in the water?
No, we put it in our pirogue.
Okay, let me ask this question because you've raised something.
Yeah, I have only about 10 minutes again.
You've raised a very vital question, something that is actually almost 2 centuries old. Actually, if not more than 2 centuries old. The issue of transportation between the two islands, right? And this dates back to when Tobago was its own separate colony. Are you therefore going to be pressing for adjustments in the THA legislation when it comes around?
Of course, as a matter of fact, when I become Chief Secretary, and that's just 2 years away about that, when I'm made Chief Secretary by the people of Tobago, I will seriously consider engaging the government of Trinidad, I'm calling the central government, the government of Trinidad, into a bipartisan agreement that will ensure a bridge is built.
A bridge?
Yes, we need to build a bridge.
Yeah, but you don't need to adjust THA legislation for a bridge.
We need to build and Tobago.
But you don't need to adjust legislation for that. The point.
But I'm not saying legislation. I've gone beyond. I've gone beyond.
You just made a point.
I've gone beyond your legislation.
You made a point about autonomy and what Tobagonians have control of, and that's why I figured you had to be heading in the direction of how can you expand Tobagonians' autonomy. So are you interested in that, yes or no?
Well, of course, but I don't want persons to think that autonomy for Tobagonians is something where we don't want to sit in that at all. This is why I went on to speak about a permanent bridge.
So you and Minister
Trinidad
Sanan
and Tobago must be linked together forever. One must help each other. And so, insofar as autonomy, we in Tobago will want to be in a position where should some catastrophe happen in Trinidad, we would be the first respondent and we would be able to respond in a manner that befits one country responding to another one.
And you think, a bridge is that? Have you done the feasibility research and practicality research and cost benefit of a bridge between Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, yes, I could tell you this. Anybody who's going to live together, it may as well as better you build a bridge and done, because we intend to live together for the next. And I said I've done the feasibility study. The only feasibility study is this: once you're going to live together forever, make things permanent between you.
And that's fine in principle, but the practicality of building a bridge, a physical bridge, I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah, physical bridge.
A physical bridge between Trinidad and Tobago. Have you done the research to investigate whether that's actually physically possible and feasible given the types of waters and the depths between Trinidad and Tobago? And the reason why it's called the Galleon's Passage between the two islands?
Paul, I swim that Paul. You can't tell me nobody see.
Yes, sir.
I passed that.
You went to the
foot in
bedrock
the
and you
waters.
went underground. So when you swam, you went underground
So I'm saying to you, Paul,
and checked the topography of the ocean.
that the world has become advanced in science and technology. As a matter of fact, there are some scientists out there right now waiting just to be challenged. They want to do something that no one has done. They're looking for the record. And if the Gallant Passage is a record,
it's great to,
I'm saying to you,
great to dream.
as the new leader of Tobago, that's one of the things I will pursue. And pursue it begins obviously with the study. I'm not in a position now to say I've done the nuts and bolts, but I'm saying this is what we desire, and we desire for the purpose that Trinidad and Tobago must become one.
Then,
just as Manhattan is part of Brooklyn.
As minority leader
and New York.
as minority leader within the THA, don't you think it's a little bit irresponsible then to be throwing out ideas that you haven't properly researched? Because I can't throw out ideas on air that I haven't properly researched without getting some backlash. So do you think it's a responsible thing to do as minority leader? Because you just positioned yourself as the next THA leader, right?
As the next chief secretary, I'll say this to you. Leaders must carry their people into the future, because otherwise you're not leading. And when I carry them into the future, I'm saying,
are you towing them, or are you swimming with them, or you're carrying them?
I want to keep this conversation in a dignified manner, right? When you carry people in the future, they must see what your plans are. Everybody who goes to a political meeting want to hear what your plans are.
But what if the plans aren't feasible?
Well, you can make that. You're not a scientist. You're not in a position
no, I've asked it as a possible question, because you said you've not done a feasibility study.
No, I've done a feasibility study. I gave Paul my recommendations on the feasibility, on how feasible it is. I gave Paul my recommendations on that. Paul was speaking about cost and actually how practical it may be when he spoke about feasibility study. I was saying yes, it is practical, and for the cost, I would say whatever the cost is, once two people decide to stay together, they will build a home and give up rent.
So you're saying that the cost is kind of irrelevant?
Irrelevant, because we need to build a home. We need to be inextricably linked to Trinidad and cut off this thing with a boat, the boat ain't working, the plane ain't working. Let this be a situation where Trinidad and Tobago be permanently linked, and the end is not a boat, it's not a plane, it is a railway that join us. There are many states throughout the world, in Germany, or provinces they call them, all about, that are linked by bridges. Right?
Those are different geographical.
And we are saying we are in a permanent relationship with Trinidad.
So you're going to say explore the possibility.
Permanently.
Explore the possibility. I suppose that's what you're saying. So the December 15 line, because I know you don't have much time.
Yeah,
December 15, what is that about with public servants?
Well, again, it's another call for the government to set the record straight. They are calling upon them to pay down $15,000 cash into each public servant pocket.
Why?
They owe us for the year 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and they are going on to 2019.